All right, now let's talk NFL. Texans, Chiefs, that's what kicks off divisional weekend for us. They play at 4:30, Commanders, Lions later that night. Then Rams, Eagles, Ravens, Bills on Sunday as well. But Chiefs, Texans is a good matchup. Last time these two teams faced, it was close. It was a one-score game. We see the spread right now at 8.5 in favor of Kansas City, of course. This Chiefs team, they get a week of rest. That's a healthier Mahomes with his ankle, Chris Jones with his calf, Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt just recovering from injuries. Arrested Travis Kelce at 35 years old, which is needed. Meanwhile, this is a Texans team that just dominated the Chargers like no one really saw coming. Matched up well, but their defense dictated the game. You saw DeMeco Ryans put together a great game plan. What are you thinking when you see this game between the Chiefs and the Texans?
Well, I think this is going to be the most watched game of the night, in my opinion, just because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we saw them once, we're seeing them again, we will see them in the postseason. That's how each quarterback has kind of approached it as well. Like, hey, man, this is just a reoccurring thing at this point. But yeah, you mentioned that Chargers game, and that really stands out to me about the Texans because not only were their defense able to handle that game, but they were able to put up more than 23, 24 points for the first time in about 5 games. So they kind of found a way to make it work on both sides of the ball. And I think, CJ Stroud he's kind of looking level-headed as ever. I really like his composure. So I think I do kind of feel that the Chiefs will walk away with this one, but I do think that the Texans are really going to give them a run for their money.
I think it was what we saw with DeMeco Ryans and what he did against the Chargers, disguising so many coverages, the pass rush getting after a really healthy, really good Chargers offensive line. This Chiefs O-line, I mean, since they moved Joe Tooney to left tackle, it's helped a ton. But Jawan Taylor's just been an absolute liability for them on the right side. He's allowed 7 sacks, third in the leagues with 11 penalties called against him. When you're Houston, you have Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. And again, you have the IQ of DeMeco Ryans calling that defense. What he was able to do so much and play line games, mess with the protections that the Chargers would be calling. Mahomes, super smart, cerebral, obviously so composed, and he's just better in every facet than a Justin Herbert. But when the offensive line is that bad, that's where my concern comes. And again, it's not like Mahomes has been playing absolute nails. I mean, he's had an interception in 7 straight games, 9 over that stretch. And it's, again, what DeMeco Ryans can do to disguise coverages, what he can do to set up where it's one-on-ones for his talented edge rushers, or if it's guys that are just unblocked off the edge, like we saw Will Anderson on a sack. I think it's what it comes down to. It's the line of scrimmage. How good will this Chiefs O-line will be? How good will the Texans D-line be? And on the reverse, too, the Texans offensive line hasn't been anything exceptional. What does Bobby Slowick do to help out CJ Stroud? Is a quick passing game, which, same thing with the Chiefs. It's quicker, less run reliant, more dependent on Patrick Mahomes. It's somewhat going to be a chess match that we're going to see. I think it's going to be close, but same thing. I think the Chiefs win this. This Texans team, especially up front on offense, leaves a lot to be desired. And CJ Stroud hasn't looked comfortable because of how bad the offensive line play has been.
Well, that's what's interesting about this matchup in particular. It's because where the Texans' defense is strong, that's where the Chiefs' offense is going to have to work around. Because the Texans' defense, they were able to swarm the pass game, they were able to swarm the run game, and they're not afraid to attack the pocket either. So you think about Pat Mahomes, how mobile will he have to be in this game? And with that ankle being rested, maybe he'll come out guns a-blazing. We don't know, but you're right. It's a chess match because where one team leaves more to be desired, the other team can come in and kind of combat it, and then the same thing on the other side of the ball. So I think it'll be interesting as far as the Houston's offense. I don't know, Jared Wayne was just activated from practice squad as a wide receiver, so I don't really know, how they're going to look regarding the pass game. But I mean, what do you think about that move?
Well, it's for both teams, like the Texans, it's going to come down to like who they have healthy, and it's Nico Collins, and it's what they have in the run game with Joe Mixon. Again, rested, but coming off a playoff game. And the same thing for the Chiefs. Since Hollywood Brown has been activated at the end of the season, I mean, he's been a walking first down for them every time he touches the ball. It's the rest versus the rust, and it's just a team with Kansas City, how experienced they are, how good they are on the back end. You can't overlook what Steve Spagnuolo has done as a defensive coordinator there, how deep they are in their secondary as well, with the emergence of Tramari Connor playing really good as a DB for Kansas City, that is. To me, you have 2 really good defensive-minded coaches in DeMeco Ryans and Steve Spagnuolo. You have Andy Reid, who's as good of a schemer and play caller. You have Patrick Mahomes, who's the best quarterback in the league. When you have bad offensive line play, it can affect a lot, and you have 2 defensive coordinators that know how to expose that. And I just think it slows down so much on offense. So as much as people could pay attention on what's on the outside, the players there, it's who both offenses have up front, and I think that can hinder both quarterback play.
Right.
I think the Chiefs get it. I think it's going to be low scoring. It's like, when I think of this, it's like 24-20, you know, maybe 27-20.
Yep.
Which in both ways, if you catch it at 8 or 8.5, you'd have the Texans covering. But I think it's one of those games like the first time they met where it could be close at times, and then it's just Mahomes in the clutch making plays down the stretch.
Right. And I thought it was going to be tight too, like 24-18, something like that. I mean, it's not going to be like incredible explosive offense. It's just going to be back and forth. So both teams can kind of combat each other's in ways that, you know, we're expecting. So it'll be a good game.
How many times do you think they bring up Taylor Swift on the broadcast? Maybe show her.
3 over under.
Yeah, I'm thinking 5. I'm thinking more than 3.
Okay.
It'll be right off rip.
Yeah.
Of course, you got to address it.
Yep.
Travis Kelce at some point is going to have a big first down.
Yeah.
Cut to her in the suite.
Yeah.
Maybe as a touchdown, cut again.
And that's the thing. Everybody loves the family members. Like they production wise, they locate family members before a game.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor Swift coming to town. I have a buddy who does in-house entertainment or whatever for the Atlanta Falcons, and they prepared a camera to be assigned to Taylor Swift for when she arrives. So they're on it. They're ready to market it. They're ready to push it further.
I would take the overabundant mentions of Taylor Swift over like Jackson Mahomes cutaways though.
Yeah.
I don't want any cutaways of him dancing. But he's going to be in the suite. We're going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Taylor's harmless. She's fine.
Exactly. It just brings more eyeballs to the game. It's like with the NFL branching out, taking games to Europe. What Taylor Swift does going to Chiefs games brings more eyeballs to the Chiefs and the NFL and everything as well.
Yeah. So, she'll be mentioned a couple of times. I mean, I'm numb to it now. I'm like, okay, cool. She's there.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Supportive girlfriend. Cool.
Look, it's content. I mean, the one time I covered when it was Chiefs at Patriots.
Yeah.
Second to last game of the season, Pats sucked. They only had 4 wins at that point. And I was like, do I go inside and watch warm-ups for a really bad football team, or do I wait outside for Taylor's arrival? And I chose the latter.
Yeah.
And it was literally a 3-second video of her 100 yards away.
Right.
And it went viral on TikTok. And that's the world we live on now.
It's kind of like the alternate positive of the situation. It's like, okay, if the game's going to suck, if the team's going to suck, well, here's another fun thing to look forward to. So, and little girls watching, you know, they get excited for that kind of thing.
More eyeballs, more attention. I'm all for it. It's like I wouldn't hate on anyone being a fan.
Right.
Whatever brings them to it.
Yep.
That's what I'm all for. So I think this will be a fun game. I'm looking forward to Chiefs Texans.
Yeah.
Commanders Lions at night. It should be fireworks.
Yeah.
Rams Eagles, good matchup, especially quarterback wise, and we'll see offensive coordinator wise. And then Ravens Bills Sunday night. To me, that's all eyes on that because winner of them gets a winner of the Texans Chiefs game. I'm thinking Bills.
I've seen a lot of people jumping on the Bills bandwagon lately. Just people who like, I don't even know, but they're like, hey, I'm not from Buffalo, but I'm a Bills fan.
Good story.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it is a good story.
Bills haven't been there in a long time. Josh Allen's been playing phenomenal. The defense plays really well up front. And that's a team that you want to see match up with the Chiefs. If the Chiefs beat the Texans, which they should, do that, match up well, and could pull off the upset. Excited for the Taylor Swift. Love watching Mahomes. I'd be ready to see a new Super Bowl matchup, a non-Chiefs team in the Super Bowl.
I'd love to see the Bills. I'll jump on
like
that
the Bills
bandwagon.
in it. I mean, Buffalo, Detroit would be an absolute electric.
That would be insane.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.